Hey everybody, how you doing? It's John Cannell here. Looking at the situation right now, and things are looking quite dire. You know, Hillary Clinton is a war criminal, right? And she's committed all kinds of grievous criminal assaults, opposing America and freedom for the individual to be all we can be, right? And you say you must vote Trump, therefore, the dichotomy of the right wing, left wing. You know, Alex Jones is against the socialists, they're against the gays, they're against the Muslims, right? And the Muslims do the terror crimes, apparently, according to this very fucking strange thing, if you're at all familiar with Alex Jones. Right? Whatever his excuse is, I don't fucking care. The thing is it's your responsibility to make this world aware of what it means to stand up for your rights, meaning something, being correct. Trillions of dollars have been stolen through embezzlement and extortion, okay? Now, I can explain these crime scenes, but we know what happens. Oh, I don't want to listen to that. Don't forward his video. He explains how trillions of dollars have been stolen by the American victim. Now, if you fucking cared for this world, American loser, put in 10 minutes of fucking research. You'll find the most established men and women of law enforcement as it pertains to stock market shenanigans tell you these crimes are occurring. The derivative is embezzlement. Okay, now you don't want to spend the time to look it up. You want somebody to vote for. You know, they're left wing, right wing. They say you have to vote for Trump. Therefore, you oppose Hillary. Well, then you have to support Trump. You know, and his bigoted conclusions. He keeps going on about, how bad America is off, right? And he's going to fix it for you. Well, that's great, man. Because that's what all these other politicians say, right? Well, how's he going to do it, man? Unlike every other politician, he doesn't give you anything. Not even a fucking a bullshit con that isn't true to your word as to how this is going to get done. He says nothing, man. He during the debate, he says to Clinton, he says that she's all talk. That's all Trump is. He has no knowledge of anything, man. You know, he understands trade because it shouldn't be that complicated for you either, man. You know, you're trading on equal grounds with slave labor. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. Every time you're going to lose. Is that me just being blind and stupid? No, you're sacrificing your rights to somebody who's going to compete with your company, but they beat people as slaves, man, in China. You know, President Clinton's most favorite nation on earth. Those are his quotes. That's how he removes those laws. Let's get rid of those stupid laws. That's what Trump's last speech was. I think it's in Tampa, Florida there, just today, or yesterday. Right? Get rid of the laws. You know, there's too much regulation. Get rid of the laws. Do you know how evil that is? True to his word of what he's claiming he's going to do to you. Blindly. With no fucking understanding how anything fucking actually transpires here. Except maybe civil lawsuits and how he can stop them from ever succeeding against his position where all the evidence is clear. I haven't gone meticulously through the evidence, so I can't, but so many claim that he's defrauded them a great amount of money. And then so they take him to court, but, you know, so far, I guess he's not lost those positions that have dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. We have a situation right now. We're not standing up for ourselves. You know, you're saying you have to vote for Trump. You oppose Hillary, you have to vote for Trump. No, you have to demand Hillary get arrested, man. She's broken the law. She's warring democracies with Saudi Arabia, man. Would you rather die sacrificed in a form of suicide than face that reality for what we are here under attack? Right, Al-Qaeda's being financed by Obama directly through the Pentagon. It's not even a secret, man. Right? And their government is democratically elected. Their turnouts far exceed anything America's been about since prior to World War II, maybe. You know, they're involved in how their banking operates in that nation. So they understand, just as America's founding fathers did also. You don't delegate the responsibility to mint money to a private company. Because clearly, that's fucked up. It's ungodly. All the prophets preach God wills justice in this place. Treat people fair here. Freedom to be all we can be, as naturally bestowed the wonders of electromagnetic energy, timeless. In this position now, we can, in a sense, measure no dimension, no distance, as a function of the physics of cause and effect, and how we transverse these wonders, remaining footed as grounded by recognizing what it means to cast ourselves in self-respect, not watching Obama and Hillary war democracies with Saudi Arabia, and they say moderate terrorists. All his moderate terrorists oppose elections, American. Are you hearing me, man? You don't want to forward the video. They're mass murdering people in Canada in our fucking healthcare system. There's all kinds of crazy allegations in the world, and sometimes some of them are true. Maybe John is telling this correct. I don't know for certain. If they cover it on TV, they'll say, wow, man, allegations. All the evidence is clear for you to witness, man. Minutes it'll take you. Why not? Why will you refuse to invest several minutes in your life to go to the search engine, get a copy of the evidence file that I give to humanity, of me talking to the chief medical examiner for the province? You know, it's 1.6 million people here he's responsible for. No criminal investigations allowed. No autopsies allowed, man, to determine cause of death. And the procedure that they do in our hospitals in Manitoba, they call it an autopsy, but it's never to determine cause of death. Shh. Shh. Okay, the cops say no investigations are allowed to take place. You're not allowed to formulate a criminal complaint that our rights have been infringed in an act of mass murder at the Health Science Center hospital here in Winnipeg, 4th floor, man. Go listen to the fucking audios of me talking to all these people. The Prime Minister contacted me, Justin Trudeau. What did he have to say to me about this situation while they were beating my mother to death, torturing her, right, trying to murder her? What did he took time out of his busy day to contact me, and what did he bother to tell? That there was nothing he could do. That's what Justin Trudeau said to you-know-who. Right, that's what he told me while my mom's being tortured. He wouldn't do nothing. I said, look, the RCMP are made powerless by some kind of fucking satanic, demonic force of whatever. Who's responsible for this position? To say that police are forbidden to enforce Canadian law. They're saying there's a special place on the 4th floor where no homicide detectives are allowed to ingratiate our living standards. Instead, it's lawless. Nobody's to be held to account while the nurse punches my mother out. How is it that the cops don't get involved there and they still refuse as dishonorable enemies of all of us here? Not defending our freedoms, not defending our lives from being stolen because we're simply poor. Right? That's all they're doing is killing the poor. With the newspaper and CBC, killing the poor of Canada. Right? Look at CBC, man. They refuse to defend our city. They know that these people are being murdered and refuse to do what's right for you too, man. Trillions of dollars have been stolen. We need fair say here. I want to be the president. We're going to just enforce the standing law. Opposing embezzlement and extortion. Taking public monies and giving it to a private individual for doing nothing is a form of robbery. There's no reason for that. It makes no sense. You pay, American loser, for this sacrifice because they say don't listen to Johnny. It must make sense to somebody else. Go look somewhere else. Instead of using your mind and understanding what this is. Right? What's been going on under the Obama Antichrist regime? You know, they've been giving away billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars bled from the American victim to their friends in France and Germany, all over the fucking world, in fact. You know, that's a crime. All this money has to come back, plus interest, man. You know, they say, no, it makes sense to somebody. No, it doesn't make any sense. You're fucking stealing America's soul in broad daylight. Right? Certainties are not being drawn. Measurements are not being made by you, man. For example, there was a public audit of the Federal Reserve. We found them at a loss of $16 trillion they attempted to steal. They got away with it so far. They're still making their escape. Right? So look that up and say, yeah, it's a public audit. Everybody in Congress, shh, don't talk about it, man. Let's talk about something else other than that 16 trillion. Right? Nobody in Congress wants to get back all this stolen money. They tried to keep it secret from the American people, secret from Congress, secret from the Federal Reserve. Right? This is all supposed to be on the down low. You're not supposed to understand how this has continued on. They're still embezzling all your funds. A derivative is embezzlement. I'm giving you, okay, look, I got $1 trillion in derivatives. You have $1 trillion in derivatives. We want to make some money, man. Okay? So I'm going to sell you $1 trillion in derivatives, and you're going to sell me $1 trillion in derivatives. That's our deal. It's every trade on the derivative market is this. Okay, so we get more credited with the truth and what's going on. Like, how is it, you know, it's a shared position of understanding. But if you understand what a derivative is, you're never going to take a loss. You don't need to. Why? Two investment companies do this. I'll give you $1 trillion. You know, I'm just making that so you can try to understand. It could be $1 billion, whatever. I'm just trying to have you know why it's a crime. Okay, so you give me $1 trillion, I give you $1 trillion. We're private individuals, so we can do whatever we want with our money, man. And this is how it works. Okay? Now, who's better off? Well, what kind of, you know, we're only going to agree on a position where neither of us take a cut. Why should we lose? We don't fuck it. This is a crime. Embezzlement is. Okay, so we're not taking a loss. I'm giving you $1 trillion, you give me $1 trillion. So now who owes who what? The fucking suckers now owe these two fucking demons playing their fucking, you know, lawless war crime action in commissions on these good deals that these companies have made for the betterment of their investors. So whatever money that, so with the Clinton presidency, Bill said, get rid of those stupid fucking laws. It's like Trump does. Exactly. Even worse. Trump is even so much worse. Listen to Alex Jones. Like, really listen. Like, listen to what he's saying. Like, what kind of fucking evil is this, man? You know, we know that Alex Jones knows much of what we're aware of ourselves. Why would he decide to make these decisions not in the defense of what really matters? You and yours. Okay, so if it's so Clinton gets rid of these laws that say you can't mix, let's say, policeman pensions with these scams, because if you can, this is what transpires. The Johnny knowledge on this is it's still embezzlement. You've taken away these protections that were designed to prevent embezzlement, and then embezzlement occurred since President Clinton, right? Still, it doesn't nullify the laws that defend our communities from embezzling the funds. So Clinton gets rid of the laws, the rules. You've got to deregulate as Trump is fucking preaching blindly in massive error. Right? This is what he's preaching. Because his audience, they love him. They don't have anything to think of or know of either. They don't have to have any knowledge on anything. He's going to make it incredible. Okay, so they remove these protections, and that's what happens. You're J.P. Morgan, and I'm Goldman Sachs, right? So what are we going to do now? well, we're just going to take money out of the policeman pensions. Clinton said we don't need those protections anymore. So that's what they do. So they know what, the investment brokers know exactly what they're doing. Right? You as the loser only listening to what every fucking television show preaches. Every fucking talk radio host preaches, just about. It's very hard for me to find common ground in this world, sad to say. You know, it's unfortunate that we don't think of these forms of knowledge expressed fair is free, involve our lives too. You know, caring for America can be caring for yourself included, losers. You know, why do you want to cheat America? Right? Because that's what the derivative market is. It's just embezzling the funds that represent real fucking capital. The $1 trillion derivative, it's just nothing. It's fiction. It can be, as it is with J.P. Morgan. No, not J.P. Morgan. It's Bear Stearns. As it is with Bear Stearns, the day before they go bankrupt, Bear Stearns, the day before they go bankrupt, they have $77 trillion. $77 trillion in derivatives. The next day, the very next day, those $77 trillion are then worth zero. 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 All zero. It's completely zero. They say one day it's worth 77 trillion. Less than 24 hours later, it's officially declared zero. Why? Right? They say it's toxic. You got to pay all that back, sucker. Another massive crime scene this is. You know, so what is this? $77 trillion one day and then the next day zero. Because now Bear Stearns, they've embezzled all the policemen pensions. All the policemen's pensions in the vault are completely gone. Why? Because they were doing I'll give you a trillion, you give me a trillion. I'll give you a trillion, you give me a trillion. I'll give you a trillion. And there's no loss because we both know what's going the fuck on. I'm not going to lose a nickel. You want to see how fucking cheap I am when we see who these people are. You know, when you see a guy who's got more than $1 trillion, $1,000 billion, what he does with his time and his life, right? Never earning a nickel. You know who these people are, right? It's like a fucking cancer, man. They know they have no particular skills. You know, they're not, and we know that they only will suffering and death for us all. But so the fact is, because there's no more money to embezzle, now that so-called $77 trillion, we can't do that trade anymore, right? I'm going to give you, I got no money, okay? I'm not going to give, you're not going to give me any money for nothing, right? And then they say it's toxic, right? It's a crime, man. It's embezzlement to the fucking, you know, to the highest disorders. So all that money's got to come back, if you will the truth to prevail, as to what the real relationship is in banking and finance, as it is with Syria. You know, that's why Obama wars the democracy of Syria, right? Because of their banking. They say, in so many words, if they could speak English, they'd say, and if they knew this, of which is sad they don't as well as they should, they go, well, you know, all the way with America's founding fathers. Sad to say, Americans are at a loss in understanding, but we, the people of Syria, we the people, the real people, you know, we're not so confused to understand where credit comes from. It is within ourselves that we grant this right, you know, to borrow some money and invest in a better future. As it is in the Western world, we pay back private individuals for credit they don't extend. They don't cover the credit, and yet we got to work and pay them back. So-called pay them back. They didn't have to sacrifice any of their private assets, anything from their private bank accounts. They just magically, because they have these positions of influence, unfair here, command our politicians to not make themselves further aware, because look at all the money they're getting from J.P. Morgan, or no, from Goldman Sachs with Trump. You know, where's Trump on any major crime scene? Wants to blame the Mexicans instead of fucking criminals. Let's go after suspects. He doesn't want. He wants to. Well, he hasn't talked more about torture, but we can be sure that that's where he wants to go, right? Where he doesn't have to compete, being fair as truly free, right? Alex Jones can't take my call because he's fearful that the people will learn on their own of the majesty of our shared circumstance, going without for far too long. Our words fairly drawn. Is it possible to make fair assessments? Some of the anarchist movement would foolishly say, and of course, when they claim, as the Bush regime did, we don't need any evidence on 9/11. Case closed. No police are allowed to investigate here. Move along, move along. And look at how powerful that TV is. You did move along, and it's like it controls your considerations as to, you know, cause and effect, following probable cause. How does a crime occur here? What does it take to live civilized lives? Well, we've had this brought through history, starting with the Magna Carta and so on. But all of it is gone from your makeup of understanding. The TV instead has you sacrificed, completely blinded. But they do it on purpose, as it was in the lead up to the Iraq War. And we can all witness that history, recorded now. We can look back in 2002, 2003, how everybody practically who was politically trying to be responsible knew that this war was going to be, is all wrong. There's no reason to bomb. Why would you bomb Iraq if we could do anything we please without delay? Right? Think about it. They wouldn't let anybody speak on TV. They pretended we weren't here. Just as they try to deceive you on Bernie's crowds and on Trump's. Well, you know, this is, yeah, but could be a part of, you know, whatever, something that we do see. You know, it's not often that you get to see. I don't watch a lot of TV either, though, but so it's claimed. Trump doesn't stand 60 seconds without fucking humbling himself on what we truly need to do to rid ourselves of fucking ungodly tyranny. So, sad to say, I'm distressed to learn that his game strategy isn't here to demand fair elections. Bernie was criminally denied our fair representation. Now, because Bernie sells out, as Trump is told, and Alex Jones rightly too, you know, he sells us out, or he doesn't have the courage, or, you know, maybe he's worried he's going to, you know, all these other people get killed around Hillary. You know, who knows? Maybe he did get threatened. I think there's even an allegation of that there. It's still our rights sacrificed to die losers. That's what we got to address. Nevada, the video, you see what they're doing to us. You know, the thing hasn't even started. The reason they're in such a rush is because they don't want everybody tuning in. There's actually nobody here that supports Hillary in the audience at all tonight. Right? That's why they're all freaked out there looking at the audience. Look, we have all the videos. You know, there's like 3 or 4 people or whatever. Right? So that's what but we already know. As the video dictates it as so. She knew she was cheating us by that voiced vote that wasn't legal under the statutes of the party because the event haven't even begun yet. And we still had lots of people outside. Right? So they've got to be arrested for that. We got to walk back there. Plus, we got to be more open to communicate the reality at hand. They're mass murdering people in Canadian hospitals under a program called Comfort Care. I know I can imagine to some people's perspective of listening to me speak, you might be a little freaked out by my presentation. You know, I never really kind of heard anybody talk like this. And John, you know, you seem kind of stressed a little because, you know, I can imagine these are big pressured issues. And from what I understand, you know, you're at the, it's some kind of cataclysmic meltdown or something, because, you know, they murdered my mother. You know, it's sometimes it's not so easy to maintain employment because I freak people out a lot, you know. I just want fair say. That's all I'm here to do. as you should do likewise. Exactly the same. Completely unique individuals we are on that plane. And what is that plane? That plane is the Big Bang. Okay? Now, when they talk about the Big Bang, you know, like say it happened so many billions of years ago and all that, well, do they go back in time? How do they do? You know, it's just a little. It's one of these real simple things that's you know, people kind of overlook. You're measuring it now. It's in this position now. You know, they'll say the background radiation, right, and the cosmic constant and all these things, right? This is a position of this moment we call now, right? Now we divide it with our considerations moving linearly through space-time, but the nature of that whole thing is also potentialized as an understanding of our own minds to be of a position of non-existence. It's really bizarre. It's really, you know, wow. You go, wow, that's pretty wild. So it forever mystifies, forever wonders you in a position that we're never. Wow, I don't know. You know, and so life is like a dream in a sense. Right? But when we see that Obama is warring democracies because he doesn't want you to understand how banking should be run, as it is in Syria, what's the difference? I better tell before we end this show. What's the difference? You know, if we wanted to generalize it, but just still be fair on the matter, I would describe it as this. It's exactly the same as everywhere else of our worlds, particularly in the Western variety. The only primary difference is there's just not a single fucking guy there taking up all the fucking money for himself and walking out the front doors. You know, they don't have a private banker who just, because he's the private banker, he gets all the money for himself for doing nothing. You know, he's not doing it. He doesn't extend the credit. You know, J.P. Morgan on your guaranteed student loans for as long as the program's been in operation. That's all J.P. Morgan has done in guaranteed student loans. If you understood what Johnny was telling you, what Johnny was preaching to you, you'd know it as certain yourself because you'd look it up and discover, oh my God, I looked it up, Johnny, and you're right. J.P. Morgan, since the program's inception, all they get is free billions and billions and billions, $60 billion ago for doing nothing. And they know it. They know they haven't lent these kids any money. They didn't cover a fucking nickel. Not a fucking nickel. And all these kids, they gotta, growing up into adulthood, 20 years old, you gotta pay back your student fucking loans till you're fucking 50, how about? And all these lives sacrifice their work weeks, or they're gonna lose their house, you know, or you're gonna lose your car, your family, your whole life, the whole nation is being pummeled, criminally defrauded by J.P. Morgan because all those payments went to J.P. Morgan for doing nothing. Just, yeah, send your checks to us. You got to pay back your student debt. Okay, that's reality. I know you don't want to witness it for yourself. You want to sacrifice further in wicked demon evil. Okay, but it's one thing to be fearful of reality. It's another thing to fucking twist it so wickedly as you do, or your TV celebrities. You know, to not keep you abreast of the circumstance at hand as publicly available if you spend fucking more than fucking 10 seconds on a meme. Like, look at what Facebook is. It's just like, holy fuck, man, come on. You know, we have to work together at communicating our mutual interests, being fair here, beyond the constraints of bigotry.